change your top one crawl. Down, watch the mud ducks fall. South Jersey amps, yeah, the story gets told. Bleed over burning, Watts hitting strong. 1, 2, 3 style, that skip rolls on. Down, watch the mud ducks fall. South Jersey amps, yeah, the story gets told. Bleed over burning, Watts hitting strong. 1, 2, 3 style, that skip rolls on. Cadillac radio, straight pill stacks. 468, crushing airway flat. Superstar 148 Pro is okay for straight 16 pills deep. That carry loud, putting clowns to sleep. Got a 7112 razor sharp. Truck CB, sail lake, sparks in the dark. Even 350 bills, running so mean. South Jersey skunk, keep it crispy and clean. Key down, watch the mud ducks fold. South Jersey amps, yeah, the story gets told. Bleed over burning, Watts hitting strong. 1, 2, 3 style, that skip rolls on. Key down, watch the mud ducks fold. South Jersey amps, yeah, the story gets told.
I just do a pop-up. I didn't give anybody a heads up. I just threw this one up here. Guys gonna slide in and out. That's cool.
Yo, don't overdrive it, don't fry that board. Keep it clean with the driver, let the power get stored. Mud ducks quacking, but the signals don't last. Danny's amps cut through, leaving static in the past. South Jersey pride, let the airwaves quake. Danny in the lab, watch the whole block shake. CB soldiers forever hold the crown. 1, 2, 3 on top when the key goes down. Key down, watch the mud ducks fall. South Jersey amps, yeah, the story gets told. Bleed over burning, Watts hitting strong. 1, 2, 3 style, that skip rolls on. Key down, watch the mud ducks fall. South Jersey amps, yeah, the story gets told. Bleed over burning, Watts hitting strong. 1, 2, 3 style, that skip rolls on.
Alrighty, guys, there we go. That's the South Jersey song brought to you by Mike Smith, PA, I believe he's out of. You can't figure he can lay down some lyrics. Alright, so here's what we have going on. I ran a combination last night using the same 454 driver, and it's the 2290 and the 454 drivers are both really good. Some people have personal preferences that they like the 454 versus the 2290. Quite honestly, as a guy that messes with them, I can make them run the same. The transistor, I think, is just preference, and as a builder, I really don't have a preference as long as the transistor is functioning like it's supposed to be, and you're not trying to overdo it. It'll last you a long time, and that goes with a lot of equipment. For years and years, you know, I would take and I would show you guys really maximum. This is what you can nail these boxes to up to a certain volts on the test bench. But you get them in a vehicle, you got a different animal. You get them on a base station with more or less voltage on the vehicle or the base station. The performance of the amplifiers are going to vary, and if you have a variation, you just have to understand where you can and can't go on them. So as people like to say, rumors spread, they don't understand. That's okay. It's all right not to understand, but someday some of the people will take and start to understand a little bit better about what these units can and can't handle. Now, can they handle volts? Absolutely. You can check that one right on your list. You can take and you can go out there and talk skip at 16.5 or even 17 volts on your main unit. The driver, no, you don't need all that drive. So you don't need to take and volt up your drivers a lot of times. A lot of times you don't have to volt up your radios. If your radio or your driver is not making the proper performance, you may not have the proper combination. Because I could take that 148 up there and run it right next to this Cobra, and I'm going to have two different performances out of this amplifier. So not all radios are equal. As a lot of people understand and know that I really like the Cobras and the Unit N and the President line. They work really good. I'm not really into the Galaxies and the General Lees, the disco radios, the Strikers, all of those types of radios that have dual finals normally don't work really well with a dual combination kit, meaning you have a driver and then you have a bigger box. Those radios don't always fare out too well. Why is that? Because you're having two finals and you're going to be driving one or two finals to drive something else, and it all falls into the attenuation. If you have attenuation on a driver box and you're trying to use a dual final radio or a hot rod radio, or a radio that puts out a lot of power, you say, oh, I can turn it down. It's not the same. That turning down stuff don't always cut it. I see Rudy up in here, Jeff's in here, Wilson's in here. Hi everybody, welcome to Sunday Fun Day. So I'm just talking a little bit about some of the people just joining. I'm talking a little bit about driver levels and different types of radios. Now, with that said, phase angle is very important. Now, if you have a technician that's tuning your radio with a 6-foot jumper or a 1/4 of a wavelength jumper, I take that back, it'd be a 1/4 wave jumper. If he has a 6-foot jumper or a 1/4 wavelength jumper and he's tuning your radio, it's probably wrong. I might have some radio technicians mad at me for saying that statement, but I know for a fact, single-handedly experienced it, and I had a good conversation with the guy that tuned up my radio and said, what do you mean you put a 6-foot jumper in there? I don't run a 6-foot jumper, I run a 12. And a 12-foot is electrically a 1/2 a wavelength. Now, 12-foot came along a while ago as layman's terms or slang. Oh, you got to have a 12-foot jumper. That don't go for every make and model of jumper. Every company that makes coax has a standard data sheet or PDF. It tells you all about that particular piece of wire. And one of the most important things that's on there, first and foremost, is 50 ohms. Secondly, and first, I believe, is the VOP, velocity of propagation. If you can get through and digest velocity of propagation, and you have a number, and it'll be a point number, it'll be like 66.66%, that would be 213 family. Let's call that the 9301. I think that was a Belden. I think I still have it written down somewhere over here. I thought I saw it. Here it is over here. 0.66 RG58UPE, made by Belden. 9201. That's the mini coax here, just right here. Yeah, you can barely see it. It's still there. I washed my bench and it's still there. Hi, Molly. So it starts with 9201 at 0.66 in that family, and then it goes 213, 214, 217, and 218. Then you have the LMR family, and that's really similar to the Helix family. So those point numbers are higher. They'll be like they'll start at 0.79 to 89 to 91 on the Helix, but most of the LMR stuff don't go over 88 or 81%, I believe. But if you're pinching for room, that's the wrong coax. Don't get hung up on the efficiency of the coax, because first thing is, you're not cutting it efficient. Your antenna system's not efficient. Your voltage system's definitely not efficient. And your amplifiers are about as efficient as the guy who makes it. So all of that efficiency stuff gets kind of just drop kicked and thrown out to the curb. Why do I say that? Is a simple fact as, unless you're stub tuning it and you get a dead on frequency, you're great. Is your antenna great? It could be close. This is no, I have this thing 110% perfect in anyone's systems. They all have a glitch, they all have a problem, they all have a quote unquote sweet spot when I set my carrier, because my needles will go crazy. That tells you, when that happens, that tells you your radio guy did a bad job on a dial a lot. Or you could possibly have a patch cord wrong in between the boxes, or going to and from the radio or down to the driver, or in between the boxes, or the patch cord coming out of the box going to quote unquote your external bird meter that you have to couple into it because it's not directly coupled here. There's a lot of different factors why things work and why they don't work. Now, not every time Johnny's right down the street. Maybe Johnny just worked on his stuff a little bit harder than you did. What Johnny may have is he may have did some groundwork that you didn't do, and you took a shortcut and you missed it. I talked to a lot of fellas over the week. In fact, the guy that actually owns these two pieces of equipment, he's been working on his antenna system on his truck, and he started off with a mag mount, which is, I suggest somebody, before you start knocking holes in your vehicles, start with a mag mount. Find out where that antenna wants to live at on your truck. Now, here's the key thing here. It's not where you want that antenna to live. It's where that antenna wants to live. So that's like me telling you, you're going to move to Siberia and you're going to enjoy it. And this is where you're going to be stuck at. That's what you're doing to your antenna. No, if you're going to take and start off with a new vehicle, go get a Wilson, go get a little Wilson, go get a Tri-Mag, something. Get a mag mount. And start placing it on your vehicle in different spots and tune it for the very, very best. Once you get it tuned the very best in a spot that you want it, and you're not going to see that 1.0, you're not going to see that 1.1, you're going to see 1.2, 1.3, some crazy ohms. Then pluck it off of there and move it towards all the way to the very back of the vehicle. And ironically, that standing wave, without even adjusting it, will come into play, and so will your ohms. Now, you must bond your vehicle, meaning you put ground wires, not wires, strap, flat braided strap. Why do I say flat braided strap? Well, let's take a look at a flat braid. All right, here's a piece of flat braid. This is 1/2 inch. You can squeeze it together and you can make about 1 inch out of it. Now, when you go to do your RF bonding on your vehicle, you would simply fold this into itself, put dielectric grease on it, anti-seize grease, made by Garter and Bender or whoever you choose, and you work it all in there. You poke your hole in there, and then you fold this in there, clean all the metal down, put your grease on the metal, put your grease on the strap, run your bolt through there, and bolt it to your frame, and you have a nice bond. When you're all done, then go get some of that red battery acid spray, that battery spray, and then saturate the whole cable. And man, I'll tell you, that thing will last you for years under your vehicle. And you need more than one. You need at least 2 to 3 on each side of the vehicle. So you have to have bonding on your vehicle, and you have to have bonding on your base station. How do you bond on your base station? You can go get yourself just a piece of copper pipe, run some bolts through there. I use carriage bolts, and I set it down where they're not going to come apart every time you take it apart, and I just screwed it down to my table. This is just a ground bus. And yeah, I brought a cable to this, and it goes down to the earth ground. But all my RF bonds are here, because it's not a so-called working ground, it's an RF ground. No differently than my my ground braid floating around out here somewhere, going down to my roof, down from my roof down to my antenna. I use a ground strap. In fact, it's the same strap I have right here. So with that said, I think I covered the bonding and the connection points. Now, the connection points on amplifiers, now some guys like the Anderson connectors. I never really liked them for the simple fact as Anderson connector, I just had one here and I got rid of it. An Anderson connector works like your 2 fingers laying on top of each other. So, and they push in and they have pressure clips, and they kind of lock in pretty good, but once they get past that high point, like my finger here, and it sets in kind of like this, if you draw too much current, they'll vibrate. And if you lose contact on the positive or the negative, and positive, the power is going to shut down, but if you lose contact on the negative, you won't notice it. Why won't you notice it? Is because why? You have additional ground here on your coaxial bond. All right, and this is making ground too. So if I were to disconnect this ground cable here and here from the power supply, and these coaxes were hooked up, the amplifiers would still come on. In fact, I'll show you that. I'll disconnect this positive cable, or that negative cable right there, and let's turn on an amplifier. It didn't come on, all right, because because I have a different ground system in here. In your vehicle, it would come on because you're still using the vehicle. But yeah, you would have to still make sure that you have your ground. I'm sorry that it didn't work like I planned. I didn't pre-test that. I just kind of pulled it off there. But I've seen it in the past where the amp would be running and the ground would be still grounded. It's still working. All right, but that's because I didn't carry my radios over to that bus, and that's why I didn't pick up. But regardless, the amplifiers, you don't always have to have too big of an amplifier. You know, in the past I took and I built 5 transistor units, and you could back them down or I can attenuate them, and they worked really good. Why? Because a 5 transistor unit always worked great with almost every amplifier. Obviously you couldn't take a 5 and drive it into a 4, but into an 8, into a 12, into a 16, 24, and 32. A 5 is really great. It's very versatile. It has quite a bit of control that's on the potentiometer. And the 454 box, we looked at it last night, and it's a nice little circuit. I'm really impressed by these circuits because, quite honestly, it hasn't changed too much from the original Toshiba ST1446s, the 454 Motorola 454s. The circuit hadn't changed that much to say, oh, well, we can't figure these transistors out. These are what we have in today's market, and they're really good transistors. I'm pretty mad at myself for ignoring this part of a build line for as many years as I've had building. I've literally ignored the smaller driver stuff just because I got hung up on building a lot of big boxes. So there is a 454 unit. I'm going to take and find my little clip here in a second, and we'll take and get this 8 opened up. All right, so here is the 8. I have done quite a few of these in the past few weeks. These are $880. Really, you're not going to find another at this type of a build, and all of the extras I put in them, and make sure that you're not getting shortcutted. First foremost, I'm putting a really good paint mask on this copper. You don't have to paint them colors. I just choose to because I know what's going to happen over time. That copper is going to start looking dingy and just not too good, like an old penny. And I've went back 10-12 years on some amplifiers that I've painted up, and they just still look incredible. And it's a wonderful thing that these filter grills, these fan filters, they help keep the insides of these units really clean. Now, another discussion, sometimes people ask, why do we force air down into these amplifiers or suck the air out? You can do it either way as long as you have the proper cooling system. In these units, they all have really good fans. This one here is a 1/2 amp fan. In here, it's a 92 millimeter I got from Walmart next door. Now these fans here, these are the ones I've been using for years. Each one of these fans are 108 CFM. So you could take and get some really good air out of these things in a two fan kit box. It's not too big, it's not too small. It has lots of air pressure, so you should have plenty of talk time with a good cooling system that's filtered with the incoming air, and also voltage is filtered as well. So I've spent a lot of times, I didn't eliminate those things, even though I brought down the price of some of the equipment on the South Jersey line to make it more affordable. I'm still trying to give you guys a really nice piece of equipment that's going to look mean and clean and going to run just as good as it looks, as long as you respect that. I didn't go cheap on a relay. I still have a really good oversized relay in there. I got 3 6-gauge power wires coming out of this thing. And going back to, I'm not a big fan of the Andersons. I like to use these LC connectors. Tweetco are the originals that we use, and you can find them on eBay and Amazon, but just try not to get the super cheap ones. Try to stick to like the same size and shape of like the Tweetcos and the Radons, stuff like that. You can get them at Airgas, but this is one without the jacket. And the way this works is inside the female version, there's a pin inside at the very end, and that hits this, bottoms out, and you turn and it locks in up under this collar. So that's not going to come loose. They're about $21 for a positive and a negative, or a male and a female, if you want to look at it that way. You should always take, and if you're using this type of connector, you should always take and put this connector on the male side on the B plus coming out of the amplifier. You should never have anything hanging out, especially if you're in a vehicle and doing an install. If you have this on your positive line and you disconnect your amp and this is laying on the floor, it could touch your seat, your car could burn down, your vehicle could burn down, and it's going to be your fault. The insurance company's going to laugh at you and call you a dum-dum. So be smart about your install and protect your investment is pretty much what I'm trying to tell you all here. So I have like 16 people in Facebook. Thanks for watching, and 3 in YouTube, 4 in YouTube. People are coming and going. So let's light this thing up. Let me move a few things around, and I'm going to light this up, and we'll get this little party started here.
Hey man, you got any of the blow-ups? I got a Harley that's like
Alright, let's take and get this thing lit up. Alright, so let's take and get this thing going. We'll take and look at what the little driver is going to do. And I noticed last night I didn't get all crazy with the voltage on the radio. Just simple fact is it would just been repetitious, because you can turn this down, turn that up, and do all those other things. But as I did that test last night with the 4 transistor unit, this was wide open and I was producing somewhere right around 75 watts, but I had the radio controlled. Now my radio's turned up and we're going to see what this thing can do. We're going to get it all the way to full. And there's full there. Let's take a look at the driver going through the 8. And here's 250 watt slug here. And we're going to be looking at a 25 watt slug on the input reflection right here. 250 here. That's 250 there, 25 there. There's 1,000 watt right here. 5,000 here is going to be on RMS and peak. And there's your slugs for the digital, 5,000, 2,500, and a 1,000 and a 5,000 on the analog. So let's check it out. Let's just leave that one right where it's at, and we'll go to here. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, audio, 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 audio. That's a 250 watt slug. Yes, sir. Audio 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm showing about 110 watts freewheeling this thing right up in through the bypass of the 8. So if I get 110 into it, adjust it. Alrighty, let's look at input. Let's stop that. Let's look at the amperage on the 8. Audio, 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 audio. 127. She is eating with oil right there. Here's everything. 14.8. Audio, 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 audio. 128. That's what we have on that the whole shelf, because they're connected. So this is showing me on this ammeter audio 30. Let's see what it's showing me with everything. Audio or amp meters. All right, this ain't drawing that much, I promise you. All right, input reflection. Yes, sir. Input reflection, audio, audio, audio. So I'm about 3 watts. I'm at full drive. When I get that, I'm at full drive. Here's what's going to happen to that 5,000 watt slug. Bring it up a bit. There we go. 1,000 watt slug. Bottom scale. Each line is 20 watts. Audio. Beat that into the corner, boys. We'll back that off there for a minute. Let's look at 2,500 over here. Audio. Audio. Good 1,100 watts. All right. Let's see the analog peaker tweaker. Here's the analog peaker tweaker, everybody. Speaker, tweaker, analog audio, speaker, tweaker, analog audio. That's about 1,500. Each one of those are 100 watts. Here's the digital audio, 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 1,550. Let's look at the 5,000. Audio, 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 1,600. Peaker, tweaker. And here's your RMS on the digital audio, 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 audio. 1,000, 1,050. So, that is with working drive. We showed freewheel drive. That's like about 110. Audio, 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 audio. So that's 95 watts banging along right there at 1,000 watts RMS. That's really good. It's tracking beautifully. Audio 1, 2. Amperage on 8. Audio, 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 audio. And here's your voltage on 8. Audio, audio, audio. 14.8. So there you go. One more time on the peaker tweaker. Picking and a tweaking and tweaking and a peaking, audio, audio, peaking, tweaking. So, I used to have people give me a hard time about, I used to do this with my voice, and it's kind of funny. Yo! Let's see if it makes any difference, everybody. Watch this. Oh, come on now. There we go. It don't make no difference to anybody. Alright, let's look at that peak. It don't make any difference. Let's look at RMS. RMS, woogie boogie audio. Woogie boogie, woogie boogie audio. I bet Molly can make that needle move with her tail. But it's not about a certain tone. It's not about anything. It's talking about talking in your microphone and getting the thing to work. Hey, Molly, you got a microphone? You gonna talk in the mic? Come here. Come here, Molly. What's up? You stretched out, had a big breakfast this morning. Huh? Hi? You gonna wave? You haven't been feeling good the last couple days, have you? No? You gonna wave to Daddy? Huh? Say hi. Say hi! It's Sunday, Molly. It's Sunday. Roof. Give me something. Oh, you got a yawn. Molly, you give me something for everybody? You gonna wave? Just say good afternoon, it's Sunday Fun Day. Molly, it's Sunday Fun Day. It's Sunday Fun Day, ain't it? Yes, it is. It's Sunday Fun Day. Good girl, huh? Yeah? Molly, you good girl? What do you want to do? You want to go outside? You want to go get the kitty? What do you want to do? Come here, talk to me. Huh? Where the babies at? Molly Moo, you're running towards the door. Come here. Where's all the babies at? What are they doing? Come here. Come here. Huh? What are you doing? You gonna sit? Molly Moo, you gonna sit? You gonna wave to everybody? Give me a wave. Say hi. Something? You're yawning. How do you do that? Huh? You're on TV, Molly. Look, you're right up there on TV, yawning. How you doing? Oh my! See ya. Gonna get some water. Well, Molly's not into it. Nutty buddy, what's happening? It's been a while since I've seen your name pop up. Cornbread, yeah. You too. Alright, so Kelly's in there too. So going back into what we have here, if we were to back this box down, and then you know what, let's leave this up. Let's look at my radio. Let's see what my radio is putting up. Then I'm going to do another test with just the radio and the 8. So here's my radio. Audio, radio, radio, radio. Alright, your 25 watt radio. Audio, 25 watt slug. Audio, audio, audio. So 9.5. So if you look at the 8, let's look at the peak with just a 9 watt radio hitting 8.879's. Ah, look at that audio peaker, a tweaker, a tweaker, a peak. I got a 1,000 watt 8 pill. See, look, driver's off. 1,000 watts peak with just a radio. So if you're one of those guys that, man, look at that box run. Look at this. I'll show it to you on analog too. I'm a peaker tweaker, and this is how I want to see that thing run. Audio, audio, audio. Show me 1,000 watts. Just a radio hitting it. Audio, 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 audio. Just that radio. Now, what's the RMS? Here's analog. Audio, 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 200 watts. Not even. Yeah, that's 500. That's 5,000 watt slug. Yeah, that's well, more than that. Audio, 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 400 watts audio. Here's 1,000. Audio, audio, 300 watts. All right, let's look at that digital. Audio, audio, 350. We'll go with that. And we'll go with that. Audio, 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 audio. 900 to 1,000 watts. Now, that's with a radio hitting it. I had a guy ask me that when I did the video. So if I took this driver and backed it all the way down, how low can we get it to go with that radio whacking it like it is? Let's look at this. Audio, radio, radio, radio. That's a driver all the way down on a 250 watt slug. Audio, 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 audio. So I'm doing about 33 watts. 33 RMS watts. Let's see what the peaker tweaker says. 33 audio, 250, 200. That's peak for you, man. That peak really jumps up. Why? Because it has a lot of envelope to grow in. All right, now let's see our drive level. Audio, the box is on. Audio, audio, audio. Same about 30. Input reflection, very, very happy. About a half watt. Here's your 1,000 watt slug with 30 watts hitting it. Audio, striker boys. Audio, audio, 500. Audio, audio, 480. Audio, audio. There's your peaker tweakers. Tweaker, tweaker, peaker. So if you have like a dual funnel radio and does about 30 watts RMS, you could run that 8 by itself. Let's turn it up a bit. Let's see if we make 50 now. Audio, real close. Here's your 50 watt audio. There's your 50. Here's your striker wattage, guys. Striker wattage audio. It's not the same though. These amplifiers drive way better than a striker will. Audio input reflection still hanging right in there. Now here's your 1,000 watts with 50 in. Audio RMS, audio, audio, audio. Boy, I'm only hitting 700 watts. But my peak Audio, she's filling up real quick. So, when I take it, I turn this up more. Here's the drive. Audio, little under 75 watts input reflection audio, happy. And here's your peak. It's filled up some more. Audio. Now we're at 1550, 1600, and your RMS audio 1000, audio 1212, audio hello. So 840 to 900 watts at low drive, low voltage. Audio. 70 watts of drive. Now you get that little extra. Can you run it wide open? Sure you can. There you go. Wide open audio drive. There's 80 all day, 80. Input's still happy, hanging out around 2.5. And your peak is all about the same. Audio. Didn't increase much, but your RMS, the body filled up. Audio. That's the body of your system, is your RMS. So don't put all your eggs into the peak basket, because someone's going to come along and shake that basket and you're going to break your damn eggs and you're going to have hurt feelings. Well, I can tell you, peak is peak. Peak is a great thing. When you know that it's full, it's not going to increase anymore. But your RMS still has room to grow. If you have room to grow for your RMS and your peak will not, now, if you grow too much, you're going to end up just making what? Heat. It's going to cut down on your talk time. So, if you're one of those guys that takes and likes to say, oh, I got one of these heat tracking guns, I can track how hot my box got. It's not the same. You're taking ambient air that's getting forced fresh down through and across the heatsink. It gets you close. It's within 30 degrees, and normally it's 20 to 30 degrees lower than if you were to put a thermometer inside and touching that heatsink at any point, like I kind of did right here to this little 16 pill. You see that wire going up in there. It goes all the way to the heatsink, and then it comes all the way to the heatsink, and it tells me my temperature out here, so I can tell almost how hot everything's getting by taking a look at that little $20 thermostat I got on Amazon. So, with all of those things said, guys, I sure hope this video was educational for you, not too boring, and some of this information will help you guys out to be successful. I finally came to the terms on what I want to do with my stickers. As you can see, Scooter and Criddle did a knocked out job. I said, just cut me some black that looks like a Band-Aid, and that's what they did for me, and it worked out really well. I think I may have them just make it just a smidge thicker on the next batch, but I might add a 1/4 inch to each side just to give me a little bit more room on the bigger ones. But other than that, I'm really happy. I'm not pretty happy. I'm really happy with how the outcome came along with the new stickers and the name and the package I put together for you guys. It's all nice and neat and tidy like it's always. I give you guys the best I can and try to keep it that way. But there you go. Standard 2879's. Remote jack in the back, slew cord keeper in there, and 3 6-gauge real copper power wires. So there you have it, guys. And this one, 8, actually has an auto sideband in it, just in case the guy wants to go on sideband. I did not do that to the driver because it would be too much for it. So as you guys, I did a video and I jumped down that rabbit hole and explained about sideband. You got to watch your drive, watch your P's and your Q's on how much you're driving into these boxes on sideband. I have a couple of them over there, big ones, sideband boxes. Guy wasn't paying attention how hot he got them. He talked a little, well, I'm not saying a little, he talked grossly way too long. Where he changed the color of the paint. So it happens. You guys have to pay attention to your temperature. These aren't like your cell phone. Even your cell phone gets freaking hot if you're talking on it too much. If anybody questions that, call Fancy Dancer. He's on his phone all the time. I think he collects a big battery in his backpack where he can keep that phone charged up. But with that said, I'm sliding out of here, guys. I got a nice day outside, and I'm going to try to do a little something here in a minute. I'm waiting for somebody to show up over here where I can give them their equipment. I might go try to find something to do. But in the meantime, between time, there's a little bit of Psycho Zip ending. That's it. All right, guys. It's been great. It's been a pleasure. Thanks a lot. I'm out of here.
There are so many different systems. Key it up in DX. There's so many different systems. Trying to get their names called, it's a shame. Drop it like it's hot. Pull out the ugly truck. Key it up and slam that skip. With my cycle zip driver. And old house 24 pills. Making over 4,000 watts on 2 hots. My engine is revved beyond control. Just to get my name called on the Super Bowl. This is DX and I'm in it to win it. 1, 2, 3 South Jersey. Just got all the way down. Cycle zip driver and my old hot 24 pills, making over 4,000 watts on 2 hots. My engine is revved beyond control just to get my name called on the Super Bowl. This is DX and I'm in it to win it. 1, 2, 3 South Jersey, just got all the way down.
There you go, guys. Appreciate you. Take care. I'm out of here.
South Jersey just got all the way down.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it, brother.
1, 2, 3 South Jersey just got all the way down. Yeah. 1, 2, 3 South Jersey just got all the way down.
I'm out of here. Y'all take care. God bless. Rolling to the left.
1, 2, 3 South Jersey just got all the way